Hey there, I found this case. It was being discussed on a Facebook group. It's made by Husky, which is carried by Home Depot. This case is $20, and it's quite nice for a transmitter case. This is ideal if you need a case and you don't want to spend a lot of money. I'm really impressed with this thing. I just picked it up tonight. I have not cut the foam out yet, but it's very solid. It also has an IP65 rating for waterproof and dustproof, which is interesting. The first thing I noticed about this case that I really like is when you open the latches, which are really nice and robust, the case has some sort of like a latch on it, so the wind will not knock this down. As you can see here, I'm swinging it forward, so if you open it in the wind's not going to slam it shut on you. It's got some sort of a click there, so it keeps it from just going down by itself. I find that really nice. Now there's foam in here, and what you do with the foam is it's sort of cut into small squares. I'll put my finger here, and maybe you can see it, how it just spreads open. Maybe if I get the camera closer, you can see all the lines. So it's very easy to draw out how you want to put your transmitter in there, and then just peel out the foam in blocks. Now I've got a couple transmitters just to show you the size. What I'm going to be using this on is my RadioMaster transmitter. This is a small transmitter, or one that's, I guess, a normal size. So this one will fit in this way in the case. And you'll have plenty of room on the side if you want to put some batteries or a couple tools. And I also have a Horus radio. Now the Horus radio is a little bit wider, a little bit taller. It looks like it will go in with the handle this way. There won't be a lot of foam on the bottom, but if that doesn't work out, it will definitely go in this way. Although I have a Horus transmitter case, so I'm not worried about it. But if you're planning on maybe buying this for one of these wider transmitters, you might want to measure it. Now the actual spacing on the inside, I'm going to do this in millimeters so it's a little bit easier to read the number. It's 239 millimeters from edge to edge. And the length is 315 millimeters. So that gives you an idea. As far as the depth goes, I haven't really tried that yet, but you're looking at approximately 100 millimeters. And considering there's some foam on the top of the lid, there's quite a bit of space depth-wise to get something in there. So this is going to look really good. I'll come back with the video, and after I've got the foam punched out for the RadioMaster, I'm probably going to put it in the center. I guess I could put it to the side and then leave more space for accessories, but I'm probably going to put it in the center. I think that's the best way to go. But this case, for the money, gosh, I think it's really solid. I don't think anybody will regret buying this. I'll put the link in the item description for Home Depot, so it'll be easy to look it up. I haven't worked with this kind of foam in a while. I once bought a case from Harbor Freight that had something similar. I just pushed the transmitter hard in here to create a indent. I figured I'll start with the handle, and then what I did was and then you just start pulling out the bricks. It's kind of pre-cut, so you don't need a knife, as far as I can see, to do this. So I've got some of these rectangles pulled out, and now I would think the handle should drop in flat, which it does, and that'll make it easier to measure the rest. So I would start with the handle so the transmitter lays flat in the case, and then you can get a better idea of where the lines are. Okay, so here's what it looks like with the foam out. You do not use any scissors, you just pull it out. The only place I used a pair of scissors was on the antenna. I didn't want the foam block here all the way out to the bottom, so I just took a pair of scissors and snipped it about a quarter way down so the antenna has something to rest on. So the only negative thing that I don't like is when you try to get the transmitter out, the foam comes with it. So I'm going to probably find some double-sided tape or possibly a glue and glue the foam down, because as you can see, when you pull it out, most of the foam is coming with it. So you have to hold the foam in place while you're getting the transmitter out of here. So I would think some double-sided tape would solve that problem. And there is a layer of foam on the bottom. Now, okay, the next thing that I was concerned about was the stick height. So I've got a ruler here, and I measured it, and my sticks are sticking out about 8 millimeters from where that ruler was going across. Now, I also drilled my sticks out, so they're recessed about an extra 4 millimeters. It was either 3 or 4 that I gained by drilling them out. So they're going to stick out about 12 millimeters if you had the stick all the way in. Now, if you have the stick all the way out, I don't know how far that's going to stick out. But in any case, if you take the foam out of here, the spacing between here and there is a little over 30 millimeters. It's about 30, 32 millimeters. So there's plenty of room in here. So I would suggest, so that there's no pressure on the sticks, measure, and I'm going to cut out a section here so that the foam in no way even touches the stick, so there's no friction against it. And that should work out pretty well then. Okay, as I suspected, when I tried to take the transmitter out of the case with the foam, half the foam comes out with the case because of the tight fit. I want to have the foam somewhat tight, so this is what the foam block looks like that I cut out. And actually, you don't cut it, you just use your fingers, and it's sort of pre-cut. You just break where the perfs are. So I went back to Home Depot and I picked up a box of carpet tape, double-sided carpet tape. And I've lined the inside of the box with carpet tape. And then I'm going to peel this off. And then the tricky part is obviously getting the foam in there once the tape is exposed. So I'm going to put the foam in and then push it back and then peel the layer off. I think the carpet tape will get a good enough grab that the foam shouldn't come out then after that. We'll see how that works. Okay, so that did the trick. What you can do is when you go to peel off the layer, don't push the foam against it. Just peel back one side at a time, pull the layer off, put the foam back, but don't push it against the tape. Then go to the next side, do the same thing in a circular counterclockwise pattern. And then when it's all out, then you go and push the foam against the tape so it sticks good. Now, if you take these bigger sides and push them too hard, you'll start breaking the perfs here. So you want to just give it a good little push, not a hard push, because otherwise you're going to perf this up. This works great. Now, when I go to pull the transmitter out of the case, the foam stays in, yet it's a nice, snug fit. It's not a loose fit, so it does not come out easily on its own. Now I can pull it out and the foam stays in there 100%. So I'm happy. Okay, so the next step is optional, and for me it's actually going to be the last step because this is an afterthought. Somebody was talking on Facebook about using this product called Plasti-dip. I had never heard of this. I had to do a Google search on it. And this is a popular product for putting a dip on like cars where you can paint the rims or a car and the paint is removable. But in this case, you can apply this to the foam, and if you apply it in a light coat, it won't attack the foam. Don't do it as a heavy coat, but light coats will not attack it. And it will prevent the foam from tearing at the perfs. Because right now, every time you go to pull the transmitter out, after time this is going to get to be a little ratty looking. So I applied this to some of the material that I pulled out of the casing here for my radio. And this is 4 light coats of this product on the foam. And as you can see now, when you pull the foam back, it doesn't perf. It doesn't pull apart. Where if we take a piece and pull it, see what happens? You get all these on the perf lines where it's ready to pull apart on you. So over time this would get to be kind of rough looking. So if you apply several thin coats of this, this is really interesting. It does not pull apart. So apparently it will preserve the foam and overall will last longer. So because I already used double-sided tape to secure my foam in, I can't do this the easy way. But anybody doing this now, what you want to do is before you apply the double-sided tape to the foam, you can easily spray this outside of the case and get that effect on here where it won't tear apart so easily. For me, I'm going to have to mask this off and tape it inside the case. But I'm going to do it because I'm very impressed with how this worked on this sample piece. Because you can see the back side, I did not apply it. But on the front side, see, it doesn't come apart. I like it. This was $5 at Home Depot. I will put it in the description to the video, what the link is. Other stores had it, like AutoZone, but I was shocked. They wanted $10 for the can, and I think Home Depot was about $5.50. I think it's worth it. It comes in different colors. Obviously, I would recommend black, since it's black foam. And this is a good idea. Okay, so it's all done. I applied a very light coat, waited about a half hour. I applied another light coat, waited another half hour. Then I applied a medium coat, let that dry overnight, and then I applied a heavy coat the next day. And my only kink was, after it was all done, the fit was a little too tight. The foam doesn't give as much, but it's a lot stronger. It's not going to tear as easily now on the edges. So what I ended up doing was I just removed the foam entirely from this here. The handle will protect the antenna. The antenna will never get jammed against this side because the handle sticks out more. So the handle will protect that, and it's great. And actually, it's a lot easier to get your hand in here now and pull the transmitter out. So it fits beautifully. So I'm really happy with that Plasti-dip. I'm glad that somebody recommended that, and it's worth it. This foam's going to last a lot longer. Okay, so to sum it up, I like the case. The latches also, I don't know if I pointed that out, they're really nice. They're nice and sturdy. They're not going to break too easily, if at all. So it's going to latch beautifully. There's no way this is going to accidentally open when you're carrying it. The handle seems pretty beefy. I added some vinyl to my case. Overall, I don't see how you can beat $20. It's a great deal. This will protect your transmitter, and even though I put a RadioMaster in here, this should fit any standard handheld radio. It may not fit the European models that are wider, but for standard radios, this thing is great. For $20, how can you go wrong?